Alright, so Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC. Probably the best DLC in the game. First thing you'll notice at the bat, enemies start using flashbang grenades, which is really actually pretty good, kind of cool. Makes them a little more dangerous. Those things to knock you out of cover is mind you, screw up your screen so if there's any enemies coming at you, they're kind of tough to see. Actually very good, cool. And this guy's behind me shooting me, somehow he doesn't die and walks into my singularity. Alright, so you'll see the same things I've been doing all along in previous videos, which is, okay, cast singularity on enemies, then try to, strip another guy, and then just pull, things like that. Taking Garrus and Thane. Garrus I'm mostly taking for the second part, where he's really good. In this confined space, I'd rather have Miranda so I could have 2 warp bombers, but Garrus is actually very good on this DLC for a few reasons. I'm mostly using the GPS, the Geth Plasma Shotgun, just because I can. I'll pretty much use it exclusively after this. See once again. I like that. Get too close, they blow themselves up.
I'll take the shot.
I'm using warp indoors again because it's really it's a very confined space, so warp is better. Throw won't really kill them anyway when they throw them against the wall, so using warp to make sure it's a kill. Gives me a longer cooldown than throw, obviously, but that's how I generally work. I think I've mentioned this before, but you tend to use warp in indoor environments, and then throw when if it's outdoor or if it's like a large area. Like collector ships, technically indoors, but there's lots of kill spaces with throw there. Here I kind of screw up and then somehow pull it off. Actually died a few times during the DLC. I made a compilation video. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. Again, this part of the DLC is fairly straightforward. It's nothing you haven't done before.
Damaged pipes are on fire.
Basically,
got it. Should be clear now.
Follow the straight line. This part here, if you notice, boom, flashbang grenade, just stand back. You can run up and then you get nailed and it's like you have to wait there until the effect disappears, so. Got them all. Warp. This guy. Warp. There we go. Again, fairly straightforward.
This might be useful.
Pistol damage. Credits on the wall. And then into the door for a cutscene.
Yeah.
Which I'll skip through. Most part.
Liara.
Spoiler alert. You haven't played it. Too bad. She's the bad guy.
You pure blood bitch!
And the cutscene people hate. I personally think it's really cool, but other people are like, my Vanguard, why didn't you charge her? Oh, my Adept, why didn't you use biotics? It's like, it's a cutscene, just deal with it. It happens. Not the most egregious example of, hey, my characters do something that doesn't do something that happens in the game. In fact, if anything, there's worse examples of where a character can do things in cutscenes where they can't do it in the game. It's kind of why I dislike having action in cutscenes sometimes, because you end up, like a lot of time, like people complain about here, oh, they're using this weapon I don't carry, and things like that. find a huge deal if some people really bothers him. He was dead. Sometimes you go up there quick enough, you kill the guys quick enough, go up, you can actually prevent them from spawning in at the door.
Lock down the blue. Moving.
Overkill on the charge weapon, but oh well.
She's getting away.
Okay, here, I like to rush up here. You can hang back. Now, I kind of screw up here in that I should have, because I was waiting for my health to come back, I didn't go over. If you go over more to the right, where instead of going here, if you go more to the right where those columns are, you can actually prevent people from spawning, more people from spawning in. I didn't kill these guys quick enough, and as you can see, they spawned into the door. Whereas, if you go to the right, it actually destroys the spawn point. I don't know how that works, but it does. Luckily, I killed these guys fast enough because they helped in Garrus, obviously. Some more people, if you hang back too much, more people can spawn in, but oh well. Like I said, if you go completely like forward and come out that hallway, you can go further on. If you kill these guys quick enough and go to the right there, then you can actually prevent them from spawning in. It's usually a good idea. So this next part is where Garrus really shines. There's a car chase after that you do. That's actually really, really fun. It's brief, but okay, quickly on the squad. So Garrus, I got area overload, Tyrian Renegade for the power damage, and points everywhere else. There's my build quickly. So Lair, my priority is to get unstable warp because again, 9-second base cooldown, and a Sorry Scientist, which gives her cooldown bonus. It does work, and I saw the controller said minus 25%, which is really good. And my controller died. So that really gives her a really fast and stable warp. I forget what it is, like what is it, just over like 5 seconds or something. So at 1 point in stasis, and I just put points everywhere else. So I've had 2 in stasis and like 3 in singularity. I don't use singularity at all on her if I can avoid it. And I mapped her warp, and this is why I like Garrus. Overload them, have Lair warp, then you only have to deal with this guy for the most part. Sometimes those guys still survive the warp. So I'm using throw, which is actually kind of dangerous. I threw some guys off the map. So again, same thing. Now these things don't drop in a set pattern, it seems. The only one that does in a pattern is the first one, which always goes straight ahead. And these ones, I'm not sure how it decides where they go. There's like 4 or 5 spots they go. This is one of them. Getting down here. So throw him. There's sometimes weird things where sometimes the trucks won't come in. I had that happen to me a bunch of times. That's in my compilation if I remember to put it in, where not even the missile launcher can find them for whatever reason. Either the guys survive or they just, whatever reason, the game glitches and they don't spawn. See, I didn't get there fast enough, otherwise I gotta deal with these guys. They spread out a bit. So, singularity on him. Roll him. So this is, again, there's like, that's another spot. So, straight ahead, far down the left there, and then this part over here. They come in at different random intervals. I'm not sure how the game turns out. I don't know if it's completely random, if there's a certain algorithm they use. But you destroy enough of them, and then it ends.
Come on.
There's a few more spots where they can drop in, but like I said, it's kind of random. So the next part is the fight with Tela Vasir. After you chase her, you go through a door. So it can also glitch here sometimes for whatever reason, where I don't know, if you throw a guy too far off the map or just something weird happens, sometimes this is like in 3 parts where you have to basically not kill her, but basically fight her 3 different times, and then people will add in later. Sometimes she glitches and doesn't come in properly. So I'm using the Paragon Interrupter. Or the Paragon. So, first part's fairly... Most of them are pretty much straightforward in the fighting here. So I'm going to map Warp on her, Castle Shot on Garrus, and just don't get hit by her pretty much. So Stasis on her, try to exploit the damage glitch, because otherwise she's just basically a bullet sponge otherwise. So I get lucky here where she falls like halfway to the floor, and so it takes that as major damage somehow, so she jumps up. So there's basically 3 parts of the fight. The first part, you have to take down half her barrier. The second part, you have to take down the other half of her barrier. And then the third part is basically you have to take down all of her armor and then her health. And then after that, the fight ends. She's got a ton of health. A ton of armor. A ton of barrier too, but like I said, it's a long fight otherwise. And in between those 3 parts, you have to fight basically 2 flying turrets and like 2 Solarians. So that gives her half her barrier back. Stasis her again.
Enemy!
Basically, you want to exploit the stasis glitch, like damage glitch, just because otherwise it just takes so darn long. I kind of screw up on the damage glitch. I don't get quite the damage I want. I'm just charging the GPS for as much damage as possible. I should probably keep shooting it after that, but yeah, sometimes you can stop her from charging in if you hit her hard enough, or hit her at like do enough damage. Widow's really good for doing that. Claimer's really good for, I guess, stopping it. Sometimes you can nail her with Warp when it works, and
I'm on the
didn't
target.
do it there. Just by Warp. Oh well. Same thing happened there. She seemed to hit halfway through a barrier and it glitched her out, so she dropped up. Which is good, then her glitching completely through the floor and not working at all. Stasis. Stasis, get those 2 things out of the way because they're annoying. And then the 2 Solarians, again, fairly simple. These parts are easy. And basically you're doing the same things each fight again. This is nothing new, just Tela Vasir is kind of different. In that she's actually like a Vanguard, she charges around. Basically, you damage her a bit, she charges, damage her a bit, she charges, and then she'll chuck like shockwave at you. She'll shoot you with her Vindicator. There, I get a really good damage there off of that, so that makes the fight go quicker. That's why I like doing this. Using the stasis damage, which otherwise I could just, again, it's otherwise just a bullet sponge, so it's otherwise not a hard fight. So she still had some armor there, which is why my pull wasn't working. So shoot her. Throwing her off the map's really fun, like really far, but I can glitch it, so that's why I use Warp.